The Rally Timeline page provides an easy way to visualize at a glance your organization's plan for the portfolio items that you've decided to fund. You can use the Rally Timeline to manage priorities and to help determine where work fits into the schedule. The Rally Timeline view can also be used to view portfolio item progress. Portfolio managers, product managers, and other executives can use the timeline page to quickly view portfolio items in relation to other portfolio items, milestones, and the start and end dates. Teams use the timeline page to establish the team's intentions for a given amount of time. As the team provides additional input and project details are further defined, this page reflects those refinements. Remember that the timeline represents the intentions of each team, but not commitments. This allows for refinement. Access the timeline page from the Portfolio tab in Rally. View the timeline information for the currently selected timeline filters. The selected filters and options are based on your selections from the last time you viewed the timeline page. To further customize the timeline, select Edit View. From the View Editor dialog, select the filters and options for your timeline from the following tabs. Timescale is based on the planned start and end dates. Portfolio Items allows you to select the type of portfolio items you want to view and define filters that can further refine your timeline view. Milestones allows you to select the type of milestones that you want to include, such as workspace, project, or both. You are not able to see milestones that are associated with projects that you do not have permission to view. Display Options allows you to add and remove column fields to organize your timeline by category and determine whether you want to calculate progress by plan estimate or plan count, as well as determine whether or not you want the Show Actuals bars in the timeline. We'll go over filtering in more detail later in this video. With your filters set, you can now see milestones on the timeline. Milestones are target dates that are important to the business. When you associate a milestone with a portfolio item, such as a feature, all of the associated user stories and work items are also associated with that milestone. A milestone goal is complete when children under the feature are complete. A milestone icon is displayed in the row on the timeline to indicate the milestone date. You can collapse the milestone section to provide more room on the timeline to view your portfolio items. When you collapse the milestone section, all milestone icons display in the single row of the milestone's header. This behavior lets you see where the milestones fall on the timeline and provides access to the details of a milestone, even when the milestone section is collapsed. You can show or hide dependencies to further customize your view of the timeline page. The Dependencies icon is highlighted to indicate that you're in Dependencies mode. Any dependencies between portfolio items are shown by a line between the predecessor and successor. Each portfolio item displays on the left on a separate line. Select the formatted ID of the portfolio item to open the detail editor. Hover your mouse over the portfolio item ID or status bar to view a pop-up window that provides summary information for that item. An arrow next to the portfolio item indicates that the item has one or more child portfolio items. Select the arrow to expand the portfolio item and view the child items. Select the formatted ID of any child portfolio item to open the detail editor. It is important to note that when you expand a portfolio item, all child portfolio items display, including those items that are not scheduled for the current date range of the timeline. Child portfolio items that are not scheduled in the current date range appear without a progress bar. By default, the portfolio items are sorted by project in ascending order. Select any column header that includes the sort icon to sort portfolio items by that column. The progress column displays the percentage complete and status indicator for each portfolio item. This column shows the percent done by story plan estimate, which is based on the story points entered in the plan estimate field for each child work item or the story count. The status indicator is based on the status of the work needed to complete the portfolio item. You can drag the right side of the progress column to provide more or less space for viewing your timeline. Based on the progress of the portfolio item as compared to the planned start and end dates, one of the following values can display. Not started, meaning no child work items have been started for this portfolio item. Blocked, which means the portfolio item is blocked. Blocking the portfolio item does not block the child work items. And late, which means that work is not being accepted at a sufficient rate to complete the portfolio item before the planned end date. Each portfolio item shows two colored bars on the timeline. The top bar indicates the planned dates for the portfolio item. The bottom bar indicates the actual dates for the portfolio item and lets you easily see whether the portfolio item took less or more time to complete than was planned. The bar for the actual dates is initially empty and outlined with dotted lines. As work is completed, this bar fills in with color to visually indicate the progress of the portfolio item and the percent complete. Hover your mouse over the top bar to view a pop-up window that provides summary information for that portfolio item. There are a variety of ways to filter and adjust your views on the timeline page. Zoom and pan on the timeline page to adjust your view of the portfolio items you are tracking. Use the scroll bar at the bottom of the page to scroll horizontally across your timeline view. In the Tools section, you can select the pencil icon to activate Edit Mode, you can select the circular arrow to undo recent actions, and you can select the Dependencies icon to view or hide the dependencies between portfolio items. To further filter the portfolio items for your timeline, select Edit View. Select the Portfolio Items tab. You can also select the number of portfolio items at the top of the page to go directly to the Portfolio Items tab. Select the type of portfolio item that you want to search for from the hierarchy level list. Select the Show Child Items toggle to include child items for the selected portfolio item type. Note that selecting a project filters the data on the timeline to that project and its child projects. Filters only apply to your chosen hierarchy level. All children of the selected level display. You can use either quick filters or advanced filters to filter your portfolio items. Let's use quick filters to show blocked work. To remove the filters from your view, select Clear Filters. Quickly move portfolio items on the timeline page to change the dates, not the span of time, or move the portfolio item to a different project. The ability to adjust date ranges or move portfolio items is based on your permissions and may not be available to all users. Select Edit Mode. The Edit Mode message window will open. Select Continue. The Edit Mode icon is highlighted to indicate that you are in Edit Mode. You can now edit displayed portfolio items. Your changes will save automatically. Select either end of a portfolio item and drag to the appropriate date to adjust the beginning or ending date. You can also select the middle and drag the portfolio item to a new date without adjusting the planned date span. Remember, you can use the Undo button to undo recent actions. Note that the timeline is based on the planned start and end dates. If a portfolio item matches the filter criteria, does not have a planned start date defined, but at least has an actual start date, it appears on the timeline. However, you cannot adjust actual dates from the timeline. A portfolio item that does not have a planned start date or an actual start date does not appear on the timeline. Congratulations! Now you're ready to start using the timeline page in Rally.